that's a pretty extreme example, but I do think of many of our clients as being a little bit wounded. I'm searching for a good adjective there, and hopefully Val will back me up on that. But women, particularly who have been through experiences not as bad as that, maybe they're regular, in which previously, and particularly if they're our age, where most of the participants were men and the faculty were men, and women's writing does not get the same kind of attention, or it didn't. And they're scared to be in that environment because it's so intimidating. And there's this kind of idea of like, here's what good writing looks like. And if you're not doing that, then you're never going to be a good writer. And so, again, I really stay away from words like good and bad. It's really about how do you find your voice? How do you strengthen your writing to become the best writer that you can be? Like, how can we work on you individually? And you asked before about that question about how we coach differently. And so at the retreats, I do meet with everybody one on one. And the first thing I say to them is, how can I help you? What do you want to talk about? What is it that you really feel you need help with? And sometimes it's like, can you look at these 5 pages and tell me? Sometimes it's, I don't know whether to work on my memoir or a novel. Sometimes it's, I had one person, and she's another great success story. She came to me and she said, I can't get into any of these MFA programs, the Master of Fine Arts. I keep getting rejected, and I'm so upset because I want to be a writer. And I said to her, well, why do you want to do an MFA? And she said, because I want to be a writer. Now, I had seen some of her work, and her work was hysterically funny, but it was, how do we say, it's like popular press, pop culture. It was commercial writing. And so I said to her, do you know that? And she said, no, what's the difference? And I said, here's a class you can take for $500, $300, whatever it is. I recommended a class where it will show you how to place these very short, funny pieces that you are working on into outlets, not literary magazines, just these online magazines that are looking for content. And within
Hmm.
her first year, I think she placed 10 pieces. It
Wow.
was just, it was insane. And she actually just contacted me a week ago and said, I finished my novel. Will you look at it? And so we're working again together a couple of years later now. But when I hear that story, I just feel like that's all it was. It was one conversation to say to her, just think about pivoting a little bit, because this is what I see in your voice, and this is the strength that I see in your writing. It's funny and it's popular, and it's not, the stuff you're showing me is not really like MFA stuff, but there's so many ways to be a writer, and here's your strength if you want to play to that. So
I agree. That's a beautiful story, and it shows that even the story before that, that sometimes you put so much value into what other people are saying, like a known author, and then when those people say something bad, your
mhm,
whole world is then
yeah.
shattered, or not getting
Hmm.
into a school because you think there must be something wrong with you, and
And even
that can
just
also be translated into the design.
and then the fear of that potentially happening can hold
Hmm.
people back. So I'm working with a client who's very successful in the healthcare field, and she has a master's from Harvard, and she's had a successful career, a real kind of go-getter person, but she's writing for the first time and has that insecurity of, is this good? Am I
Hmm.
making the right choice by even trying this? What if it's a flop, and it's not, and it is good. And, when she hears that, it is encouraging and helps her want to go on. She's also someone who's really, really meticulous about her schedule and her writing life. So that makes her a very easy person to work with because she's on it. She has this scheduled and she's rigorous about it.